Governor Gavin Newsom announced new gun safety legislation in California today following two recent mass shootings in his state. Meanwhile, here in Washington, Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania co-sponsored the reintroduction of the bipartisan Background Checks Act. Both addressed gun reform today.
National conversation in gun safety has been led by the state of California. Since 1989, the assault weapons ban leadership that emanated out of the state of California in 1994 with the national assault weapons ban by our own Senator Dianne Feinstein.
It's only a matter of time before this becomes law. We just want to make sure that it's sooner rather than later, because every day that passes by that this is not the law of the land, it's a day where more lives are put at risk unnecessarily.
Joining me now is a U.S. Senator who has worked for years on this issue, Connecticut Democratic Senator Chris Murphy. Senator Murphy, we know what the aspirations of some gun control advocates are. What do you think is realistic in this Congress at this moment in time?
We showed last summer that we now have the ability to pass gun safety reforms. 30 years, Congress did nothing, shooting after shooting, homicide after homicide. And in the summer of 2022, we passed 5 major changes to American gun laws, investing in red flag laws to keep guns away from dangerous people, making sure that no domestic abusers get guns, strengthening the background check system. I think we can make more progress. Is it harder now that Republicans are in charge of the House of Representatives? Absolutely. But we passed that bill last summer with Republican support, significant Republican support. I would love to pass an assault weapons ban. That's unlikely with Republicans in charge of the House of Representatives, but we could make some progress. We could raise the age to purchase an assault weapon to 21. We could require you to get a background check, at least before you buy one of these military-style weapons. There's a litany of things that are possible this year, and I just think the American public is fed up with the NRA, the gun lobby, owning Washington. They demand action. That's why we got something done last year, and that's why I have confidence we can get something done this year.
You just heard Republican Congressman Fitzpatrick talk about a universal background check law. If you had the ear of House Republicans, where would you tell them to start? What's the one thing you think could get off the ground in a Republican House that moves the meter or flies in the U.S. Senate?
Well, the reason why background checks is a good place to start is because it is wildly popular. I mean, you know, I'm not kidding. If you poll like apple pie and kittens, they don't poll as high as background checks do in this country. 90% of Americans think that everybody should prove that they're not a criminal or seriously mentally ill before they buy a gun, Republicans and Democrats. So to me, that is the holy grail. It's the most popular proposal. It is also likely the most impactful proposal because, you know, right now, Connecticut, we can't protect our citizens without a national background check law because all these guns get bought illegally in places without universal background checks like South Carolina or Georgia and get brought up to Connecticut. So that's still, I think, the sweet spot, popular and impactful.
Saw that the House Speaker and the President met today on the debt ceiling, according to the Speaker. I feel like Senate Democrats must feel like spectators at this show, or people in the audience versus people on the stage. How do you think this ends? What's the end game here?
I mean, I think this has got to end only one way. We pay our bills, and the Republican Party doesn't decide to hold the whole country's economy hostage in order to participate in an exercise that should be as simple as signing up and making your oath of office. You're a member of Congress. You pay America's bills. So I don't know what they discussed today. My position has been simple. This is not a subject for negotiation. If they want to talk about spending cuts, the Republicans do, well, guess what? We write a budget every single year. Let's negotiate spending cuts in the context of the federal budget instead of negotiating spending cuts with the sort of Damocles hanging over our head, the default on American debt.
I want to press you on that because that's certainly what Senate Democrats and the White House want to have happen. But how do you think this happens? House Republicans have been emphatic. They're not going to vote for a clean debt ceiling increase. Is there some cobbling together of House Democrats and Republicans that needs to happen?
I mean, America just watched the sort of hour-by-hour implosion of the House of Representatives. They couldn't even choose who should lead them. That's like the easiest choice you make. Everything else after that is more difficult. We have no idea what Republicans want in exchange for raising the debt limit. And what we suspect they want are things that are wildly unpopular. raising the age for Social Security, cutting Medicare, a 30% national sales tax. I mean, it's crazy, some of the ideas that they have, but we're just guessing at this point. So we just can't negotiate with the House Republicans on this. Let's negotiate on their ideas in the context of a federal budget. Let's just decide to pay our bills.
You have been talking about border issues, and we note the House Judiciary Committee launched its committee for this Congress talking about border issues today. Where's the common ground there? Because both sides seem pretty polarized on this, and ultimately immigration is one of those things that needs a type of bipartisanship.
Well, the tragedy here is that we did find common ground. In 2013, the Senate passed a bipartisan comprehensive immigration reform proposal, making sense of our population of undocumented citizens, letting them apply for citizenship, but also getting a lot tougher on the border. The Republicans who ran the House of Representatives at the time refused to take up that bipartisan bill. We'll try again at a bipartisan compromise, but my worry is that Republicans tend to look at immigration as a political issue, as an issue to sort of beat Democrats over the head with, not an issue that they actually want to solve. A bipartisan group of senators went to the border just a few weeks ago. I was part of that group. We're committed to trying to find common ground, but we've got to see some signal from these real radicals in the House of Representatives that they actually want a solution, not just a political cudgel.
Pretty unequivocal statement from those House Republicans. They're displeased with current border policy, so there's some fences to mend there. Senator Chris Murphy, it's a real busy day. Thanks for making time for us.
Thank you.